So now I created the sloper, sketched it as it was supposed to be, and here it's only the waistline, seam line is marked, not the outer edge. So you don't need anything else. The seam line marked, not the outer edge. And I want you to create the line parallel to your grain line, and this line is supposed to touch the blade in parallel, go all the way down. Because what we are doing now, we're starting defining the center back seam. And well, I explained to you before the center back seam of the women's. We have the butt more protruded than the hips, not than the blade, right? And the waist is more shaped area. So now what I'll do is, remember how this center back, and take a look at yours too. So if this was the blade, and here was going in a 1/4 inch from the blade, double check your sloper. You have a 1/4 inch angle there, okay? And then you have an 1/8 inch angle here from the blade. Because above waist, the most protruded area is blade. And from the blade, it goes in less, it goes in more, 1/4. Now from here is a butt. So butt is from the waist is about 9 inch. It depends. You're gonna look at your customer and see where the most shaped area is from the waist down. So dress forms, maybe we can bring a dress form. Hold on 1 second. It would be nice to have a dress form. This is perfect. Beautiful. And this is a very good dress form, by the way. Woof. Somebody donated to us. We're very thankful. Okay. So I don't have to show on my own body. That's perfect. Okay, so see how this is hanging, right? So if this is a gravity and hanging, then this comes out more, right? So there's a lot more shape from here to here than from here to here, okay? So that's why we need, it's important to define the shape correctly in the center back for dresses. We already know for bodies, but then coming down, we have to. And this style has no seam. We discussed previously what happens when we have a seam. So now I do that, my trick, from here to the guideline, I go out only 1/8, like this. Even though body has a lot more than 8s, you can't do more than 8s. If you do more than 8, it becomes like wavy and it's some sort of problem. Okay, so here it is, 8. Now from here, we'll get there. From here, it all depends the style. If I like this dresses to be more go in, is the question?
Yeah, just where do you, is there like an exact measurement for how far down?
Yeah, like I said, for size Missy, size 8, I do 9 inches, but it also depends. Take a look at your body or take a look at your customer and see what is the position of most projection. For example, for my sloper here, I'm gonna measure right here. Look, it's so easy here. Right here is most projection, right? So that's 7.5, is it? See what I mean? Here, 7.5, because it's a petite sloper. You just have to see, normally for me, I know it's 9, and shorter people have less and taller people have more. Industry standard is 9. For Missy, petite would be less. Okay, good question. So at 9 inches now, we're gonna go out an 8. Now from here, like I said, you can go straight, all the way down straight. When I say straight, it's on the grain. Okay, the grain is my reference. Straight, angle, all in grain. So I can go all the way down. or I can curve in quarter. It depends. If I want style that is more shaped in the back, I can curve in, because body has curves in. From here in, it goes in. Okay, that's how I follow the body shape closest as possible. Now let's talk about this dart, next dart. So always make sure you put a center line from this dart, like if this is a point at the top, from the point down, create a center line, parallel to the grain line, here, like this. Okay? So we create the center line. You know, in here, the dart may not be exactly centered for the bodies, but for the dresses, I want it to be exactly centered. And when I say centered, is the fold line to be parallel to the grain line. And this is a fold, dart fold line. Okay? So we can now, how long is this dart supposed to be? Next question, right? Take a look at your model, take a look at yourself. Normally I do about 10.5 for me, but you also have your client, the customer. So like, for example, from here to here, 10.5 is here. So visually, we are all designers, not just pattern makers. Whatever looks visually have a purpose. If let's say some customers have very bumpy shape here, this dart gives you projection and gives you shape. Where do you want to stop that shape? So I'll leave it up to you where you need it based on your shape. Okay? So let's make this now for the sloper. We can make 10.5. So this is not an actual size, by the way. I'm just doing this like this. So the dart has shape in, point out where their waist suppression is, and going in. So don't make it too much like, nobody has that like shape. So you just do a nice, about 1/2 inch straight at the waist and then curves out. So now, if on your sloper, the legs, this called dart legs, are a little off, just center it to the fold line. Okay, so I'm gonna stop now. Dress forms like this. So there's not much shape from here down here. So I only use a 3/8 deep dart from the waist down, okay? I only use 3/8 deep dart, waist down. Yes, we need deeper dart from the bust to waist, but you have to pick and choose what looks right. So what looks right is this dart. Okay, so this dart to be only 3/4 deep, meaning 3/8 deep, 3/4 on the open at the waist. So we actually have to decrease the depth a lot for the dresses, okay? So what I'll do now is this. I'll take this guideline I have, and from here, do that. Mark 3/8 one way and 3/8 other way. 3/4 total. Okay? So when you mark 3/4 total, let me know, and then I'll proceed. At the waist, where the waist suppression is. Okay, great. Okay, so now from here, we're just gonna do straight line and join this to the point. I'm not changing the top point, okay? And now, the same way as we did for the back, I need to figure out where to stop the dart in the front. from the waist down, where do I want? I don't want this 3/8 dart is not too long dart, not too deep dart. So we can look into our sheet of how long we did 3/8 dart, remember? So I'll do about 4 inches maximum, okay? So let's do 4 inch down this way from the waist and stop. Perfect. And tell me how long you got the dart. When you to explain how do you create side seam and what kind of shape we're giving side seam to our little shift dress. Okay, so we established the measurements we need for the low hip, which is supposed to be 10, right? We divided the low hip measurements into 4 and we got 10. So I marked this point here. Okay, and then I have the chest that I don't want to change, right? So what I will do now, I will take my straight ruler and then I am going to make a straight line like this. This is also guideline, but this guideline is not parallel to the grain. It's just a connecting line to help me to shape the side seam. Now, I'm gonna find where my waist position is. Waist position we marked here, remember? And at that waist position, let's erase, not to have too many numbers here. So I have my guideline, right? The straight line. And from this position, I will go in 1/4. So this dress has a very minimal waist shape because once we fit, we can determine how much shape we want. And this is the easiest way to make the dress. So you're gonna go in 1/4 like this, or 3/8. 3/8 is fine too. 1/4 or 3/8, and connect to 0 to hip measurements. Don't confuse the seam line and the seam allowance line. So we're talking about the seam line to seam line or seam allowance to seam allowance. From center front, I'll mark the 10 inches. So now we're doing the side seam on the front. So 10 inches here, right? And now I need to add the seam allowance like this here, right? So now I'm going to take this one. Let's cut this. So let's close the dart. Oh. We need to close the dart like this and like this and like this. Yeah, like this, okay? And I'm going to take the pin or something, and then I'm going to take this one. Thank you so much. Oh, it's not this little pin. Perfect. Okay. This is like interesting. So I'll take this one as my guide. So this is cut here, right? Okay. So I'm going to take this as a guide and connect here and connect to the low hip like this and copy the shape that we did for the back. Let's see what we're going to get. The weights are always good. Let me see the weight. Weight is here and here. Here and here. So I'm going to connect the shape. Okay, let's mark this. And add notches while I'm here. I'm going to add the waist notch. So come close like this so that you can see it. So I'm shaping this one and tracing this. My point is to make sure the low hip is correct. Low hip, I have that inches, right? And from here to here, I don't care about the grain line here, okay? And then I'm gonna stop here. Now I'm gonna care about the grain line from low down. So when I come here, like here, then I'm gonna pivot this to make sure this is on a parallel grain with the front. Okay, so if I have a grain here, let me mark one more here so that I can find the parallel grain. Okay, and then I have the grain here through and through so that I can match the grain lines like this and like this. This, and see, here is a parallel grain like this, right? Boom, 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 boom. These are two parallel. Below low hip. And below the hip here, I'm gonna trace this line exactly, right? This way and this way, and this way and this way. So now, see how we ended up being like a little different? That's fine. That's very nice shape, okay? So now I can cut this and sew. So Jessie, you're pretty caught up thanks to me. And you have to cut and sew. Do that for me, please. This time. Okay, you have a lot of homework.
So we
Honey.
need to do our front, cut it all out, and sew.
Do the same thing, what I did, and show it to me.
Okay,
But Jesse's gonna have to cut and sew because I did this for him.
Oh my god, I'm so scared.
Yeah,
I'm not
okay?
ready yet.
What? It's hard?
I'm saying I'm not ready yet for sewing.
No, you guys don't. You're just gonna do this, what I did, and show it to me, okay? Okay, perfect. So this is your seam lines now. This is a seam line, and see the waist became a lot bigger, but it is what it is on the shift dresses. And I can teach you so much, oh my God. We can take this shift dress and turn into the princess line dress, and the princess line you can shape as much as you want,